All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the GMS, who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word of sincerity and truth. All right, so today I wanted to talk about something I was thinking about at camp, and we were talking about. I'm thinking we were talking about Esau, but now I'm trying to think about what exactly we were talking about. But whatever the case may be, I started thinking about the secrecy that Esau's been able to. I'm trying to think of a better word than enjoy, but they've been able to be afforded a certain level of secrecy in these modern times, right? It's a mystery. It's a mystery to the masses what type of person we're dealing with when it comes to the so-called white men, the Edomites, right? And even when they've been exposed to a level where you couldn't get any more bare, people still argue and fight that you could be making a mistake, you could be wrong, and what have you, right? But in case you haven't noticed, over the past, more so in the past few months, but especially since the truth has hit heavy in this since 07, a lot has been coming out on the wickedness of the so-called white man. And the reason why it's so strong in my mind is because we've been reading in First and Second Maccabees. So like we've been reading in First and Second Maccabees, and in reading through the Maccabees, you see how blatant Esau. Matter of fact, let's do this. What's this? Yeah, let's go here. I want to go to First Maccabees 1. All right, I want to read something to you. All right, so it says, let me write this word that I'm thinking of really quick. So let's read this, right? It says, First Maccabees 1:1. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then he died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. You see? So in their rulership, you see the wickedness of the earth start to be perpetuated, because the kings of old, before Alexander's time, before the time of the Grecians, before the time that the Edomites started to take over by way of their Greek Empire and their Roman Empire, those kings were also wicked. They were idol worshippers, some into homosexuality, so forth and so on. But when Esau came into power, they perpetuated these things to a new level, and you get that sense when you read First and Second Maccabees, right? And with their wickedness, they were blatant about it. There was no hiding. There was no secret societies. There was no Bohemian Grove. There was no secret parties where they dressed up like weirdos and running around chasing each other. There were no secret societies in Harvard and their schools. Whatever wickedness they perpetuated, they tried to they did it in open, and what they did try to do was force it on the rest of the world, but especially the nation of Israel, right? So when you come to Mattathias, and you come to Judas Maccabeus, and you get to Simon and Jonathan and Eleazar, when you get to that family, and you see the vehemency they fought with, it shows you that they were not only fighting for their culture, and fighting for their way, and fighting for their heritage, but they were fighting against this new way that they were so out in the open with. Let me see, what does this say? Let's see. Let's do this. I want to show you something. Let's go here. Go to here. And let's type in the word gymnasium, right? Because we know gymnasium as what? A place of exercise, right? Oh, I'm spelling it wrong. Oh, okay. Am I spelling it right? Gymnasium. I think it's right. Yeah, gymnasium, right? So let's check this out. It says a place of exercise, right? So let's really quick, let's do this. Or should I open up? No, I made the point there. So let's do this. Place of exercise. Right? And then we'll go, where is it? Yeah, right here. Apocryphal only. Right? Okay. Oh, yeah, there's that one. Right? So let's go to this one. Okay, but let's read it first, and then we'll go to the definition, right? So let's see. This is First Maccabees 1. I saw right here at 11. It says, "In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen." Right? So what was this place of exercise about? Right? Well, when you look at it at face value, right? You say, niggas was in there pumping iron, right? That's what you think at face value, right? Because the idea of the gym has changed, in that. I'll show you the change. So let's go to it. It says a place of exercise, right? So we're talking about what they were talking about here in Maccabees, right? It says from Latin, gymnasium, school of gymnastics, from Greek, gymnasium, public place where athletic exercises are practiced, gymnastics school and plural bodily exercises, from gymnasium, to exercise or train, literally or figuratively, literally to train naked. Right, from gymnos, naked. Okay, you see. So this is what they were doing, right? They were in those gymnasiums, if you will, right? Out there butt naked, right? You know, showing their rods to each other, you know. And this is the mentality that, you know, a lot of our people were adopting and taking on by the way of the heathen. But again, for the Greeks, there was no hiding it. You know, this is something that they did out in the open. This is how they get down. And fast forwarding to this time, when you look in the news, right? What's going on? What's the big thing in the news? Me Too, right? Where all of this, all of these reports and accusations coming out, and allegations about, you know, these men, not only in Hollywood, right? Because we can make the argument there, right? But not only in Hollywood, but in politics, right? Our judicial system. Let me not say their judicial system, their religion, right, and then it even spilled over in the same way it did in the Maccabean times into hip hop, right? Where you got this guy, what's his name, Africa Bambaataa, came out. You know, first the one dude came out, and then there was another, I think, two men that came out saying that, you know, when they were young boys, that Africa Bambaataa was, you know, popping them, man. Right? So much like in these old times, right? It spilled over into these times. But when you come into these times, why were they secretive about it, right? And this is what I was thinking. This brings me to what I was thinking about at camp. Why were they so secretive in this time about what they were, what their true intent was? Because again, reading in 1st and 2nd Maccabees, there's two things that you find out very quickly. One is the hatred that the Edomites, by name of the Greeks, had for our people. They hated our people with a passion. And one thing I always like to say is, when our forefather Jacob took the birthright from Esau, that hatred that Esau had for him seeped down into his loins, and so deeply that every child that he had from there carried that same hatred, right? So that's one thing that you find out. But the second thing you find out is how much they hate our ways, right? So not just us, right? Their desire to have us killed, their desire to take us over, but they also had this hatred for our way. Matter of fact, let's what is that? Let's go here. What is that scripture? Is it Wisdom of Solomon? I think it is. Right? Yeah. Check this out. This is Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. It says, "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. Let me see something. I want to give me 1 second here. I just want to right here, verse 12. This is verse 12. It says, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law. Right? And objecteth to our infamy the transgressions of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts, right? So they showed this, man. They showed their hatred for us immediately. That's one thing that you find out very quickly, is how much Esau hated us. And as soon as, went from Antiochus the Great to Antiochus Epiphanes, going on down through all those rulers, Demetrius, Eupator, all of these different Seleucid kings that took over. Their main purpose was what they were going to do to the nation of Israel, how they were going to lay it flat. They were going to make it a burial ground, and that was their enterprise. That's their passion was to take us down, right? Because we are contrary to his ways, man. Right? Look, he is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits, and that's how, when you had, if you don't really get into the first and second Maccabees, or if it's been a while, I suggest you do it again, because it puts you in a spirit. One, it shows you the faith that our people carried at that time. With such trouble coming our way, you had a select few who were able to, through faith, take down a lot of Greek strongholds, man, and regain some independence as a nation, and also along with that, you also get to see how vehement we should be about our ways, man. So it says, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. Right? Listen to this. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. You see? So it says this, he abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness, right? So which brings me back to the thought, right? Why did they go through so much trouble? When we seen them as the Greeks and Romans, how they were so blatant about it, right? And I think that was the second thing I wanted to say about them. One was their hatred towards us, and the second was their openness about their wickedness. Why were they so secretive in this time? And what it made me think of was a quote, and I couldn't, and Google gave me the runaround, but the quote is, I believe I heard it from Muhammad Ali, who said, "You can't fight what you can't see," right? And the reason why I think it was Muhammad Ali, because he always boasted of being one of the fastest heavyweights, right? And if you can't see me, you can't hit me, right? If you can't see me, you have nothing to be vehement against. And that was the motivation behind the secrecy of Esau in this time. They learned from their mistakes as the Greeks. They learned from their mistakes as the Romans. And they said, this time we're going to be secretive in the things we do. We're going to attack them, but we're going to do it in a way of diplomacy where they don't know, right? Which is, the peace treaties that were signed, the smooth words, right? That which I'll get into, right? But let me go to this first. Let me do it like this. I want to go to, I got a couple of things written down here. I want to go to First Maccabees again. And I want to go down to where Antiochus Epiphanes was beginning to take over Jerusalem and Hellenize the Holy Land, our nation, right? And some of the things that he did in order to accomplish it, right? So it says, this is First Maccabees 1:30, and it says, let me start at 29. It says, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit, right? So so one thing you're gonna see, right, is they've always done this, right, where they come and they act like, oh, now we well, we wasn't coming here to fight y'all. Why y'all all mounted up? Why you got your sword? I forget who that was. We just took the test too. I forget exactly who that was, but they've always done this. They've always had this mentality of doing things by deceit, right? But watch what happens when the deceit doesn't work, right? It says, for when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel, right? So there was that part of deceit, right? But most often he did it by force, right? He used his military might to, or not just Antiochus in this case, but all these Seleucid kings, all the Greek kings, all the rulers of that time, by force is how they got people to adhere to their ways, man. Killing, raping. Okay, it says, and when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armor and victuals, and when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness, her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. Right. So this is what they did, right? They did it forcefully, they did it openly, and there was no secret to it, right? So what did they do in this time, right? Now you have the transatlantic slave trade, right? Where it was clear what was going on, right? You had the so-called white man attacking the nation of Israel, whether were from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Issachar. Every tribe has stories and accounts of what they experienced by way of the Edomites, right? Whatever they were calling themselves in these times, right? But what you saw, right, and what you see in history is that there was a kind of blurring of the lines, right, where you weren't sure if Esau was the wicked or not, and these things were all by design. And again, why? Because you can't fight what you can't see, right? So let me go to what is that? I have it written down, but I don't know what the scripture is. I think it's Psalm 55. Let me see. Smoother. Oops. Smoother than oil. Let's see. Oh, that was a good one I had up there too. Yeah, Psalm 55 and 21. I think there's one up above it. Yeah. Check this out. This is Psalms 55 and 20. It says, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath forsaken his covenant, right? Now, what is that, right? What did they do? Same thing they did during the time of Antiochus, right? Where they came in acting like they were at peace. And what did they do? They destroyed our people, right? So let's continue on. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, right? So you got these you got guys like Don Lemon. You got all these different not prominent, but these black people on television nowadays. Charles Barkley's, Stephen A. Smith's, right? People who kind of blur the lines and try and distract you from who's the wicked. When we talk about bad things, who should we be looking to blame, to accuse, right? And it indeed, if you don't know, right? You got people. Oh, I grew up around white people. They've been all right to me, right? But you don't know that this is the wicked that we're dealing with here, right? What did Paul say? He said that. Let me see. What is that? Right. See, look. Let me go in here a little bit. Right. Check this out. I'm trying to find a good spot. Might have to start at 1. Alright, so the point is down here in 7 and 8, but I'll start at 1. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 1. It says, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua Hamashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Right. So in order for him to be revealed, right, you would have to, there would have to be this time where you didn't know who he was, right? Let's look up this word revealed. Let's look up this word revealed here. Revealed. Oh, snap.
Strong's G 601. Apocalypto.
Apocalypto, which is crazy, right? There's a movie called Apocalypto, right? and whew, wow. And what was that movie about, right? You went through, there was this whole movie where it showed you the wickedness of the northern tribes, right? How they were, practicing other customs, sacrificing the other gods, right? But it's funny that the key part of the movie was the end, where you see the so-called white man coming over the Atlantic Ocean to the New World, if you will. You see, right? And what was the name of the movie? Apocalypto, right? Which means what? to uncover, lay open what has been veiled or covered up, disclose, make bare, to make known, make manifest, disclose what before was unknown. You see? So when you go back to the scripture, right? When you go back to the scripture, right, and it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, right? Right. So he had to go into hiding, right? And then again, become unknown, and then that which was unknown be revealed, right? Right. So it says the son of perdition. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. You see, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Right. So he was already there. Right. This guy, look, this mystery that I'm talking to you about, this guy he's already here doing his thing. But there would have to come a time where he had to be revealed as though we never knew who he was. And this is why he kept himself secret in these times. This is why you have the so-called Illuminatis and the Bilderbergs and, all the Bohemian Grove and Harvard and all of these different secretive satanic things, right? Because they would have to be revealed. And it's happening, man. It's happening where it says in Isaiah to make bare the leg, right? That's speaking to this exposure that's going on, right? The Catholic Church is being exposed. Hollywood is being exposed. Politics is being exposed. And what are they all into? Homosexuality, pedophilia, right? And these are exactly the things that the Greeks were into. So who are the Greeks in that case, So continuing on, it says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. You see, right? So he would have to be revealed, and that was the reason why he kept himself secret. So let me go to Isaiah 29:15. I think that's what was up here when I pulled over here. Let's go back to that. Isaiah 29:15. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us, right? And that's how they feel. They didn't think that they would ever be exposed for these I was gonna say sexual deviance, but just deviance, period, in everything they do. This is why they're known as Satan, the adversary. See? Look it. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Right. And the Lord framed them to be the wicked. So this is who they are. You see? So that's it, man. That's all I had. I felt like I took the long way around, but Lord's will, that was edifying. I'll end it off by saying, as always, as we always do, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakha Kwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. And with that, I say shalom.